First principle. So you can write for yourself Robert Cialdini, 6 principles, or you don't have to write his name, but those are the 6 principles that we're going to talk about. Okay? The first one is called reciprocity. I know it's a difficult word. For me, at least, it's a difficult word. Reciprocity, but it's an important principle. How many of you heard about reciprocity or know at least what it means? Okay, a few. Okay? Okay, reciprocity. In principle, if I want to get you to do something, it will be much easier for me to get you to do that if I did something good, if I did something for you before. Okay, we are built this way as humans. We couldn't survive as humans if it wouldn't exist in our genes. Okay, as tribesmen, you know, if I want to make sure that I survive, I need your cooperation. I need your support. We need to have somebody, you know, staying awake at night to protect the cave from, I don't know, dinosaurs or whatever it was, right? Now, I cannot get somebody to do that if I didn't do something also. So if I can say to you, hey, Monday I was taking guard in the night, now it's your turn, people will be much easier to do that than I would say to them, hey, it's your turn from here to eternity. You understand? Now, businesses don't understand that. A lot of businesses don't understand that. They just say, hey, this is my offer, buy my car. And why? If we want to build a relationship, it's about reciprocity. I'll give you something in hope that one day you will want to give me something. It doesn't have to happen, it's not always happening, but it's your job, and you heard that from me in every single training. Give first. This is the principle of reciprocity. Give first. My suggestion, take it a little bit further, because most people that do understand that, and Cialdini, that's how he described it, is give first. I would like to take it further. Give first and keep giving. You want to develop the perspective in your prospects, we're talking about business, in your prospects and client mind as a giving person or as a giving business. When people see you giving first and keep on giving, at one point they start feeling this, hey, it's time to do something back. Actually, this whole crowdfunding campaign that I'm starting tomorrow with the people that I'm starting with is based on that. Guys, I've been in your life for a long time. It's time for you to do something. It's not for me, but I'm going to ask you to take action. And people will do that. And if you will see the comments that people wrote on Tuesday, you will see this underneath. In many of the comments, not in all of those. Okay? Reciprocity works. I'm going to give you principle after principle of how to implement that after the break, but I need you to understand. Give first, keep giving. That's what I mean reciprocity. Is that making sense? How many of you understand that it works this way? And you saw that. Even you say to your kids that, right? You know, I'm going to give you now to watch television. I expect you after that to organize your room. That's reciprocity. That's not the reciprocity I would like you to do because it's conditioned. It's conditioned. I would like you to give first and keep on giving from without the expectation. Okay? And if at one point you see that you keep on talking to a group of people, to a segment of your audience, that you keep on giving and you get nothing back, I would suggest that you stop doing that because you are not a charity and it's not your kids, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So there is, of course, a certain expectation, but the expectation is not one per one. It's not, hey, Yaron, I'm going to give you this, and I expect that in 3 months you're buying my training or whatever. Okay? It's this flower that is there. I have something to give, I'm giving it, and on one time it will come back. We talk about it in networking, we talk about karma cookies. I'm sure that you've been in different trainings and you heard it in different ways. It's all falls under reciprocity. Is that clear? Yes. Wonderful. Melanie, is that very, very relevant for that? Because I think so. Okay. We'll give you the mic, but guys, I want to really give you that without sidebars. Yeah.
Okay, I love this concept, giving. But I've always also seen with myself and somebody who mentored me that...
okay, I'm not going to go into that. Talk to me on the break on that. But personally to you, I want to talk right now about the principles. There will be people that will take advantage of you. There will always be part where it doesn't work. I'm not going to take questions, and there is a purpose of that. Actually, when Vered will talk to you in the master presenter, she will tell you never, ever take questions. Okay, I'm just falling into that all the time because I love you so much, guys. And I would like to answer every question, but what's going to happen is I will answer her specific question. It's not relevant to half the room or more than that, and then I'm losing you. That's not the right thing to do. So you know me. I will be available whenever you want me, but right now I want to cover it's not to be harsh or rude, okay? Just that it's not relevant to what we are going to do now. So the next one, number 2, reciprocity. We'll talk more about it, but for now, the next one is what we call, or what he calls, consistency. Consistency. I think you write it this way. Okay, consistency. And consistency is really important. I asked you before to remember that. Okay, what did I ask you before to remember? When I asked you to do what? What? System. No, just before. I told you there will be something I'm going to come back to. How many of you remember that? Nobody. What did I ask you to do? I asked you to raise your hand for something. Okay? And I told you that will come back. If I want you to take a big action, I need to start with small action that you say yes to. Okay? Yes to. I need you to be... That's how people are. Again, it's all part of psychology. Robert Cialdini is coming from psychology. He's a professor in the university. He's never been a businessman. Okay? But it comes from the human psychology. Okay? We are trained that if we said something in that direction, we are trained not to change our mind. So if I'm taking a small step in that direction, I will, for myself, need to take the next step and the next step and the next step in that direction. Okay? So if I'm asking you, how many of you, let's say in the business bootcamp, how many of you want to grow your business? Just play with me, okay? How many of you want to grow your business? Yes. Okay? Right now you made a commitment to that. For yourself. Okay? I cannot catch you on that. But right now you made an opinion, or you made a decision. Okay? So you will want that the next actions you take will be there to continue that. So I will ask you a next question at one point or another. How many of you realize that in order to grow your business, you need to learn more about marketing? Yes. All right, second step, same direction. It's not something totally different, it's just a second direction. Okay, how many of you understand that right now you don't know enough about marketing, and probably in order to become good at that, you'll need to get more knowledge or information about that? Yes. Third step, okay? How many of you, after 2 days of the business bootcamp, feel that you actually got some value? Yes. All right. How many of you think that if I will give you everything I know about marketing in 3 days, that will give you even more value? Yes. Do you see what happens? It's small steps. If I will ask you how many of you want to register for the Master for 4,000 euros in the first day, I'm not going to get lots of hands. But if we're going to do that step by step, and I will show you more how to do that. Okay, it's not just with raising your hand at all. There's tons of ways to do that. There is no manipulation in that. It's just how human works. Okay, so what you want to make sure is that you direct them in the direction, but don't take them all the way. Don't try to sell them the car before you make sure that they're actually drivers and they want to drive in a better car and that they want to be safer and that they want to take their family in that car and that they want to, I don't know what. And that leads to where you want them to go. That's consistency. I will go more after the break about that. But do you understand the principles? How many of you understand? Yes. Thank you. Okay, next one. It's a concept that you might know it in Dutch, and I think we mentioned it a little bit in the Master Entrepreneur. It's called affinity. Affinity. In Dutch, affiniteit, right? It's very easy. Okay, affinity. What is affinity? You want the other person to like you. That's as simple as that. It's part of our process that we described before. Know you, like you, trust you. People will not trust you if they don't like you. And they rarely will buy. You rarely buy anything from somebody you don't like. And the only times that you will buy something from somebody or a company that you don't like is when there's no other alternative. If there's any other alternative, can be more expensive, can be less attractive, whatever it is, we will usually go for the person we like. Okay, that's as simple as that. You will see it in every single product or service. Okay, we will buy from somebody we like. So it's your job to get them to like you. Now, I don't mean that you need to do stuff that you're not believing in, or not to be sharp or harsh or whatever it is. Most people, even when I'm harsh on them, they like me because they know that I'm coming from the right place. Okay, and if they don't, that's fine. But they will never buy from me. Okay, people come to the business bootcamp. A lot of them leave after the first day because they don't like me or they don't like us as an organization, and that's totally fine. I don't want them around because I will waste my life trying to sell them something where they will never buy. That's the part of the attraction. Okay, that's the part of the attraction. Like is important. Okay, liking is affinity. And what I wanted to show you just very quickly is how quickly you can create some affinity by just getting to find out what you both agree on. We will talk a lot more about it in the negotiation because one of the best negotiation skills is creating that. Okay, we'll talk about it also in more detail after the break, but just to show you how quickly we can get somebody to like us by a very simple tool. This is one tool of Affinity, there's a lot more, but finding out what we both agree. Usually, when you're having a negotiation in any way, shape, or form, a negotiation is also putting an effort out there, saying, this is my offer. There's also a negotiation open. Usually, we're focusing on what we don't agree on. Okay? This is your price, I don't agree with your price. This is your terms, I don't agree with your terms. This, whatever it is, there's always the disagreement, and that's what creates disaffinity, or if that's a word. But if you can focus at the beginning what we agree on, that's amazing what happens. I'll show you, you'll be amazed when you see how it works. But remember, this is the third principle in order to be able to influence. They need to like you. Okay? Next one was mentioned actually in this word when you collected those things that caused you to come to the business bootcamp, and that's the word scarcity. Scarcity. Scarcity means that there is not enough of whatever. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. Now, first of all, about all these 6 principles, you don't have to have all of them in your business. You don't have to have all of them in your product. Every one extra that you put just makes your, more irresistible if you want. Okay? Every one of them. Scarcity is not so easy. Okay? And it's not always needed. However, the thing is that most of you are ZZ payers still, right? How many of you are still ZZ payers? You're still having your business, which is basically you. Then scarcity is built into your business. You just don't use it. But you have X amount of hours a day, you have X amount of months a year, you have X amount of, but that you can create, and you're not using it. But you have built in. Most of you. Okay, most of you. I need many times to create it because I don't have the same situation that you have. But you do, so this will be really, really important when you're going to talk about it. It's going to grow your business like crazy when you use it. Number 5 also was mentioned this way or another. It's called social proof. Social proof. Today, we make decisions based on what our friends and our networks tell us and not because of facts of the product. Most of the products you buy today, you don't even check to make a decision. You don't even check the specification of the product or the service. You just ask your friends, what car did you buy? What toaster did you buy? What training did you go? What dentist do you go for? And this is how we made our decision, right? Many of us are doing that. We're actually going for either our network or we go for influencers. Like if you want to decide which movie to see, many times we just open the paper and we're looking what the critic said, or the restaurant, what the critic says, right? What you think about, it's crazy. But this is how we make decisions because there's so much information out there. We cannot make the decision. Most of you couldn't repeat, even if your life were depending on it, what did you read on Open Circles on Business Bootcamp page about the trainings. But you will remember that somebody told you have to go there, if that was the case. Because that's what made the decision. You went later to check it because you have to, that's how we do that. But you didn't, that wasn't the decision making. Okay, and I'll give you more and more examples of that later. But most of our decision today, buying decision, is based on other people's opinion. And, it's a good thing, bad thing, I don't judge that. I'm just saying you have to use it. Okay, so when somebody says testimonials, we have lots of testimonials. This is social proof. Okay, when I'm having here a picture of Richard Branson with us, that's social proof. Hey, if a person like that is working with Nisandeh and Verd, well, it must be legit. Do you understand? Okay. When we have 1,000 people in the room, that says something. That's social proof. When we have, lots of people on our Facebook or lots of people commenting for a training, social proof. That's why I want you to support us in the project, in the campaign, because if we'll have in the first 2 days lots of people, there's tons of social proof. It's safe for people to join in. It's always hardest for the first person to donate or to do anything. But imagine that you go tomorrow in the morning and there's already 10 people that did that. In the evening, there will be already 50. Well, it's easier to make the decision. You understand? Yes. You use it everywhere. Okay, social proof is one of the most powerful. It didn't exist years ago when there was less tools. Now it's very, very powerful, very important. And the last one, the 6th one, we mentioned that in name, it's called the expert position or authority. Expert position. If you have a pain somewhere and you go to a doctor that you trust, that you think that they are an expert, and they tell you, well, you need to cut your arm off, well, doesn't matter how inconvenient it will be. If you trust that person, you will do that. I mean, for me, the craziest example was Angelina Jolie with that. You remember? I mean, Angelina Jolie, because the experts told her that she has this possibility of an illness that she might get, and it can kill her, she went and cut both her breasts and the rest of the female organs that she has at the age of what? 40 or before? I don't know even what it was happening a year or 2 years ago. Because the experts told her, and this is a woman that lives on her body, I mean, except the talent, but she needs her body. But people do that. Okay, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that this is, it's not something you read on the internet and you decide to do that. And we make those decisions. You chose to trust me that I know what I'm talking in order to buy from me the next training. Okay, so authority is very, very important. Yes?
Yes.
Good. That's where we are, by the way, use that badly. Those mothers that are telling their kids, I'm going to count to 3. How many of you mothers are doing it? I mean, 1 to 3 is the most authority position you can have. You can do it to grown-ups and they will still do what you tell me. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, and people start running. No, it's funny, but it's not the right authority. This is not what I'm talking. That's why I wrote expert position, not authority, because most people take that as an authority. But an authority that comes from I know, it's very, very powerful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Guys, are you with me?
Yes.
Wonderful.